Hi, and welcome to the Ladies of the Paranormal World. We are here with Drusilla, Wendigo, and Skinwalker, and I am your host, Archangel. It is nice to talk to you guys again. This is episode number 10. 10, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the Villisca X murders and the Villisca X murder house and how it is haunted, um, according to people who have seen, heard, and discovered all kinds of interesting things, including some of our favorite shows that have done their investigations there. So, first off, the Villisca Axe murders, if you're not familiar with it, the Villisca home, first off, was the home of Josiah, Sarah, Herman, Mary, Arthur, and Paul Moore. Herman, Mary, Arthur, and Paul were the children of Josiah and Sarah. The home was also being visited that night by Ina and Lena Stillinger. On June 9th of 1912, the family would go to church, come home, and go about their business like they would any other day. This particular night, they would come home with visitors. The visitors that they would have over were Ina and Lena Stillinger, at between midnight and 5 o'clock the following morning of June 10th. The the Stillingers and the Moores would be brutally and savagely bludgeoned to death in their sleep. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty screwed up. We're talking 6 babies. I mean, imagine that being your babies and the adults, the people, and the parents were asleep. They had no indication that there was anything wrong, let alone that they were going to die that night. Now, according to reports, Miss Peckham was their neighbor, came out the next morning at 7 o'clock and had noticed that the Moores had not risen to do their morning chores like they did every day. Because they didn't, she decided that she was going to investigate because she was concerned for their well-being. She would go over and knock on the door and shout for them, but nobody would answer. When she didn't receive an answer from the Moores, she then called the Moore's brother, Ross Moore, that's Josiah's brother, and Ross also came over, knocked, shouted, and couldn't find any sign of response from anybody. So he would unlock the door. Once he unlocked the door, he walked into the parlor of the home. The parlor connects to the guest bedroom. He pushed open the guest bedroom door and would find Ina and Lena Stillinger both savagely and brutally murdered in the bed, as if they had never even woke up from their sleep. On the floor was the murder weapon, the axe that was used to kill them, and a very odd piece of 4-ounce slab of bacon and a glass of bloodied water was on the floor next to the axe. So I mean that's just what the fuck. Okay, but when he realized that the 2 Stillinger girls were dead, he then screamed for Miss Peckham to call Hank. Sorry, I have it written here. Oh, Herman. Hank Herman to the scene. He was the peace officer at the time, where, of course, they would discover the remaining bodies of the Moore family and the Mr. and Mrs. Moore. Now, when they did their investigation, they had discovered that there were 2 cigarette butts, so 2 smoked cigarettes, in the attic. So that led them to believe that the killer had actually hid inside of the attic and waited until the Moores came home and the family had gone to bed. It was shown that he then went down out of the attic into the master bedroom and murdered Josiah Moore first, bludgeoning him several times to the point where his eyes were no longer there. He had literally bludgeoned the eyes right out of his skull. Above Josiah Moore's head was a large axe imprint in the ceiling because of the force that he used to whip the axe up and then bring it back down. It literally gouged the ceiling. But then he does the strangest thing. He turns around and uses the blunt end of the axe. So on Josiah Moore, he used the bladed end. but on Sarah and the remaining members of the family and the Stilling girls, he reversed it and used the bludgeoning end to kill the rest of the family. Why? What was so special about the bludgeoning from Josiah and the bludgeoning of the remainder of the family? There was only one person ever tried for the murder of the family, and that was the Reverend Kelly. He was tried twice. The first time ended in a hung jury. The second time ended in his acquittal. There were several different suspects, but the crime is still to this day unsolved. So, go ahead with your inputs on this before I show some pictures and all that cool stuff.
That bacon, I didn't read that. The bacon in a bloody glass of water.
Yep.
I didn't
there was also
That
so much
is-
blood. Oh,
There was what?
There was also so much blood from Josiah's body that it was spilled over into his shoe. And when the killer went to strike the final blow, he knocked over the shoe that spilled blood all over the floor.
Yeah, but what? Bacon and a glass of bloody water. What the hell is that? Like
No
some
idea.
really like messed up, like mind messed up stuff. Why bacon? Like,
I don't know. It wasn't even cooked from the report that it shows. It was just like it was taken out of the ice box and put on the
And
floor
just
next
put
to the
there.
axe. Yeah.
And put there. Like,
Yeah.
there's seriously, whoever did this had to have something severely mentally
wrong.
Because who does that?
Actually, there's two theories from what we researched.
Yes, I also saw the other one as well, but go ahead. I did enough of the explaining. You do the second explaining.
The two theories, the whole bacon thing, is one, the first one was he was going to take it with him. Whoever did it was going to take it with them. And the other one was they weren't sure if he used it as a vagina.
Okay, I did not read that.
What?
Oh, yeah, because apparently one of the
time out. Okay. What the? You mean for himself?
Yes.
That's the theory?
Yes, but they never found any hairs or fluids on the bacon.
Then why would they come up with that? Like, what?
Because one of the girls had her nightgown up to her waist and the panties were under the bed.
So they believed it was sexually motivated, perhaps?
I don't think that either.
They didn't find
because they didn't find any evidence of sexual assault or anything.
There was no signs of sexual
trauma.
Nothing. No fluids, no nothing. Just her nightgown was up to her waist and the panties were under the bed. That was it. And then the bacon was in the same room.
Yeah.
This person is severely fucked up. That's all I can say. Fucked up.
Yeah. That's right. Two of the theories of why the bacon was there.
Brutal, okay? Like, horrible. But that's even more like, that's
twisted.
Even more fucked up. Like, that is some crazy, yes, twisted. I don't care. Like, and then what is the glass of watery blood? Like, was he drinking it? Or
it was a bucket. Wasn't it a pot?
Like,
it was like a bucket of bloody water.
I thought it was a pan of water, a pot of bloody water.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't like someone was drinking a cup of it. It was like just.
They were washing their hands or something.
Yeah.
Okay, because when you said it, you said a glass of bloody water, and I'm going.
I meant a bucket. I'm sorry, that was my bad.
I'm going. Is this crazy ass putting blood in a glass of water and drinking it? I mean, he's already got the bacon on the floor.
That just
so I mean, really, would put it past that person? Like,
Not really. I mean,
With
they were
crazy
willing.
shit like
I mean, how bad does it have to be for you to murder 6 children,
that. Oh
let
God,
alone have bacon on the
like,
floor thereafter?
that's the worst. Like
I don't
innocence. Like this
understand.
person took 6 innocent lives.
You did.
You know, whether or not the parents were whatever. The kids are still innocent.
Exactly. Yeah, I gotta do this real
You know,
quick.
and for the parent, him, her, because who knows? We that there are crazy women that
Mm-hmm.
can do just as brutal stuff, but
Yep.
man or female or whatever, how could you look at 6 kids and take their life?
And they say to this day that house has a very, very, very negative attachment. I was reading through some of the reports that have been shown through, because it's a bed and breakfast. It's a bed and breakfast now. Whoa.
Right,
What is all that noise in the background?
like what's her face's house?
Yeah, like Lizzie Borden's. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Villisca Axe Murder House. They've turned it into a bed and breakfast. And the bed and breakfast itself has people that have gone, oh no, wait, it's not a bed and breakfast, I'm sorry, somebody else owns the house, but it used to be. But they had people that would go in and they would have these horrible experiences. They would smell cigarette smoke. They would hear what sounded like somebody following them, see shadow figures, hear things moving, seeing apparitions. So there's an abundance of paranormal activity that seems to go with this house, this place, and none of it's very good. They've been said to hear children's voices, children
Screaming.
crying, screams. Yep.
Yeah. There's too much bad shit that happened.
There really is. It's terrible.
You know,
Absolutely.
and like they do say that you can feel the presence of evil. But
Absolutely. I believe that as well.
evil entered that house that night
And it never left.
never left. It is literally that simple.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
I absolutely agree.
This whole house, once that evening started, and whoever evilness was up there, like, that just continued on, because you can't get rid of that, especially with the kids and as many kids, and you just can't get rid of that kind of evil.
No, absolutely. I'm going to show some pictures, and we can talk about the pictures as we go. But they're pretty in depth as to the family and the home. Now, I don't know how you found that crime scene photo, but that's pretty cool. But I have some past pictures of the homes as well as the modern pictures. They haven't changed much about the house. The only difference has been the people that have been taking care of the home. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going, and we'll talk about the photo. And you can see how the attic is in one of the photos that I'm going to show. It couldn't have been easy to sit there hunched over and hiding for all of that time. Okay, this here is most of the family. It's not the full family. The next picture I'm going to show that has the family is the full family. But this is Josiah and Sarah.
And the 2 youngest.
And then the 3 youngest. And then there's one more child that isn't in this photo that should be. But this is the news article for the day of the murder. Now here it says 3. Here it says 3 of the 4 children were murdered, but in all of the other reports, they were all murdered. So I'm not sure why this one states 3 of the 4.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
So they found nobody alive in the house, right?
Yeah, nobody was alive in the home.
At
Nobody.
least that's what I knew.
Yeah. But this is a news article, so I mean, this is back then. They could have simply gotten it wrong at the time.
Or typed it up wrong. Because scroll down on it. Oh. This person killed 4 families?
No, this person that they're naming here was one of the believed series. There was already no. This one has never been solved. The guy that they believe
the person that they had interest, are they saying that he killed 3 families and they thought he killed this? Dang.
Yes.
Yes, because down the train
the man was a serial killer, or a believed serial killer at the time, and during that time they believed that the Moores and Stillinger children's murders were a result of the same
murder.
Same murder.
Yes.
So I mean, that guy's just evil to even start with. The one that killed three whole families, because there's children in. There have to have been children in those 3 families.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So this wasn't the first time. Yeah. This wasn't the first family to be killed. Now, they don't know for a fact whether or not he was linked to the murders. They just suspected him to have been linked to the murders. Now, as you see, this is the Villisca X home. And if you zoom in, right here is the attic window, okay? Right here. Leads up to the attic. So this, if I'm not mistaken, if I've paid attention to the blueprint, this part of the house would have been the children's bedroom. The master bedroom, I think, was on this side of the house. So he would have gone out of the attic to this side of the home, murdered Josiah and Sarah, then went back into the top children's bedroom, killed all 4 of the Moore children. Then down here was the parlor and guest room, and that's where Ina and Lena Stillinger were murdered. So it's a pretty big house, but it doesn't. Once you see the attic, you're gonna be like, that's really cool. Huh?
In my picture. That's who those 2 are.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Okay, here we go.
Those 2 are.
So here's the full family. This is all of them that were deceased. This is Ina and Lena. This one was Mary, and then Paul, Arthur, and Herman. Yeah, Arthur and Herman. And then you had, of course, Josiah and Sarah Moore. So this is the full murder photo released into the paper. So that's why I said I think the first one that I found was a misprint. Okay, so now this is the upstairs bedroom right here.
Mm-hmm.
So all 4 children would have slept in this bed, and it is the same bed, by the way. The beds and everything that are in these rooms are as they were when they died. Nothing's been changed. But you see, there's no way to have, hid in the room itself. Where the hell would we have hid? So that's that bedroom. And then this is the, oh no, I'm sorry. That was the guest bedroom. This is the bedroom of the 4 children. More children were. And it does look like somebody may be staying there because there's a Pokeball down there. I'm pretty sure Pokemon weren't a thing in 1912.
No.
So, they were always here.
Yeah, right? But the beds are original. They've said that in all of the interviews that they've ever given during the tours. The beds and crib are all the original beds and crib are originally there. So it's a heartbreaking scene if you imagine these 4 children sleeping, and then
Yeah.
imagine the next morning finding them as if they were sleeping, covered in blood. Okay, now this is the entrance to the attic. Look how small this entrance is. So whoever did the crime had to have been slender enough to fit up these little narrow stairs, which you can kind of sort of see down here, and fit into this tiny little doorway. This is where they found cigarette butts.
Sideways.
Huh?
Sideways.
Yeah, basically. I mean, yeah.
If it was a
But-
bigger guy, would have gone sideways.
Yeah. But this is where they found cigarette butts and believed that he hid during the time that he awaited the family to sleep. So, there's that view. This is the actual attic itself.
And that chair was.
No.
Oh.
Now, that's from people doing investigations. You can see they've also got some balls up there to see if they can get the children to interact. So they've got jacks up here and stuff trying to get paranormal activity.
Yeah, because they kept everything original. So I'd have been like,
yeah,
so that's sitting there in that chair that whole time.
I mean, it's a pretty old looking chair. It might have been from the house. Trying to look at the chest I can through a photo. I mean, it looks like a fairly antique chair. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, an older style chair. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. But then here's the parlor. Yeah. So they would have gone through here to the children's room. And you can kind of see into the guest room. Of course, you got the little family photo there. But yeah, there's your wood burning stove, and everything's pretty much as it was when they died. So that's all of the pictures for that. But as you can see, it's not as though they were, spread out throughout the house. You got to wonder, was anybody able to scream out? Did anybody hear anything? Did they know they were going to die?
Well, I'm sure the children did.
Yeah, like the fear that they had to have.
He couldn't have done them all at once.
No, he had to go from room to room.
Right, the 4 children were in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. He couldn't have done them all at once. He may have been able to bludgeon them each one time and then continue, line. But he could have done it all at once. So you got to and think that 3 of the children knew they were going to die.
Petrified. Yeah.
Like they were so scared and knew they were going to die because their sibling died.
Mm-hmm.
Or get hit at that point in time.
Yep. Go ahead.
See, there's also a theory that when me and him did our own research, that whoever was hiding in the attic had put something in their food or drink or something he got help so they would
drug them so they wouldn't get up.
Pretty much.
Where did you read that?
YouTube.
Well, go figure. YouTube.
All about YouTube.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I went through. I went through. Resources. Like actual.
There's Google
and booking resources.
Yeah.
But I have to agree with Drusilla. I believe that at least 2 of the 4, bare minimum, knew they were going to die. If not 3 of the 4. knew they were going to die. And I think that that family, those children were petrified. I think that the children in the guest bedroom downstairs knew that they were going to die. And I believe that they had to have been just absolutely petrified.
Oh yeah, because I guarantee you they heard it.
Hmm. You know, the gouging of the ceiling for to start with. Josiah's murder was not a silent one.
Right.
He was
And it
bludgeoned
wasn't
so many times.
and it wasn't the Lizzie Borden where got the mom beforehand and then the
Exactly.
dad after.
No,
So these were done all at the same time.
exactly.
These kids had to have been terrified, and I'm so terrified that all they could do was sit there
Hmm.
instead of attempting to get out.
Yeah. And the reason I believe that is because if you paid attention, his murder was so vicious that the axe actually left a gouge in the ceiling. Now you're telling me that you can't hear the thud of an
Of an
axe
axe
hitting
hitting
the
a
roof?
room?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna hear that.
Yeah.
It's gonna reverberate through the house. So
Yes.
somebody had to have heard that. And I'm guessing the person to first hear it would have had to have been Sarah, because that's his wife. She's in bed next to him. You know, something that loud, that vicious. And you can't tell me you don't hear the squelching and squishing and smashing of your beloved one's head being smashed in right next to you.
Right.
You're going to feel
Yeah.
it. You're going to hear it. You're going to smell it. Yes, you will
Right.
smell it. Blood
I'm
has a
just
very strong metallic
surprised.
scent.
I'm surprised that she continued to lay there.
Hmm. The only thing I can think is that if you love someone enough, you die with them.
If you already see what he's doing to your husband, what's he going to do to your kids?
Hmm. You
I
know,
mean, I love my husband, but if somebody murdered him, my ass would be out the door, grabbing my kids and making sure they got the hell out.
exactly. Exactly. And,
Like I would have just laid there because my kids' lives, whether she thought, well, he wouldn't go, may not go after kids. She don't know that for absolute. So I'm sorry. My husband's already bashed in face, lost his eyes.
mm,
I wouldn't just have laid there. I would
mm-mm,
have ran as fast as I fucking could, grabbed my kids, and got the fuck.
exactly. See, I don't know. Again, maybe the boys do have a point. Maybe they were drugged. That would explain why none of them ran.
Maybe.
That would be something that I would have to consider because, like I said, you got to imagine all of the trauma that was induced by all of that. There's no way it didn't wake somebody unless they were heavily drugged.
Yeah, especially since they
That's
said that he was swinging the axe around like a madman.
Yeah. I mean,
that's true. Because as a mom, wouldn't you be saying, "Yeah, I love my husband, but
I
those
gotta
are my
save my
kids."
kid. Yep.
I mean, that
So
would be my
again,
first.
exactly, and so that's why I think that they may have a point with them being drugged because nothing hell or high water over my dead body is going to keep me from getting to my children.
Oh yeah,
You know, so I have to imagine that they were incapacitated somehow.
something,
And
something.
if that's the case, then the children may have been fully well asleep throughout the entirety of the thing. And we can only pray that that's what happened because, God, I wouldn't wish
Yeah,
for any
pretty much.
child to suffer that way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this was a terrifying and
Hopefully
brutal
that
murder.
was what it is. Unfortunately, I hate to say, hey, Hope the whole family was drugged. But
I know. It
for the
sounds awful,
sake,
but yeah.
but for the kids' sakes,
Yeah.
I hope that theory is true.
Yeah, I agree. It would be absolutely horrifying, mortifying to find out that they had to endure that and watch as each other were being murdered. No, nobody wants that.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm trying to pause my TV again for the 10 billionth time. I'm watching the Expedition Unknown, and it's being stupid. Okay, I'm gonna stop to wait. So yeah, you have to imagine that that's a pretty horrifying scene. Definitely not one that you would want a child to suffer through or survive through. Honestly, um, I mean, could you imagine if there had been a survivor in all of that?
they would be
Yeah,
petrified. Those
Like
people would
I
be
would.
petrified.
I don't even think that. I mean, if they had been bludgeoned and managed to survive, you'd be lucky if they weren't brain dead.
That, but think about all that, how that person would end up living that every
Oh
day.
yeah,
That's how
absolutely.
bad he fucked these people up.
Oh
That
yeah.
I don't, in any kind of therapy, any kind of would fix.
No. Mm-mm. It was brutal. And now they're saying that in the home you can feel that it feels like the murderer never left the home.
The attic
So,
feels like a clear wall sitting inside of it.
well, more like they say that they feel like the murderer, when he died, came back to the home
He went back to the
and never
house.
left. Yeah, and never left. They say that there's a dark entity there that feels like it could attack you. There have been people that have been scratched. There have been people that have been marked, bitten. People have seen shadow figures, which are, we know, as we've gone through and watched and read about dark entities. Shadow figures are generally linked to a negative entity,
Right,
some kind of evil spirit or some kind of demonic entity. And those are things that
right.
they see are these shadow figures. And then you got, the screams and the talking of children in the home where there's no children. Um, Things like that. Now, it
Yeah,
could
but
be
see, the
completely
thing I
residual.
find is the screams. Okay, that kind of tells me maybe somebody realized what was happening.
Well, I mean, imagine, coming and into the spiritual realm and seeing your body a bloody mess.
That
Well,
too.
that too, but usually it's because of what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
Those voices that you hear, like laughing, giggling, you know, that's them happy, living their life the way they were, as kids, and playing.
Mm-hmm.
But the screaming is usually based off
Trauma
of like,
induced.
right. So, like maybe something or whatever that
Or they were
somebody,
by the bludgeoning.
one of these kids knows
What happened?
as a spirit what happened.
Now, there's been EVPs
Whether
that have been
they,
captured.
died before other ones died and they saw it through that or what. At least one of them knew
Oh
what had
yeah.
happened.
Now, on Ghost Adventures, they actually did an investigation of this home, and during the investigation of the home, they captured an EVP that says, "I killed 6 kids."
Oh
That
God.
tells me that the killer is still in that home.
His spirit has come back to the house.
When you can
Yes, some
hear
of
a
them do that.
raspy voice telling you I killed 6 kids. Now that in itself is very scary.
Oh yeah.
It's creepy. So now you gotta think those kids have to relive that every day.
Even in the
And
afterlife.
maybe that's what the screaming is.
Mm-hmm.
That
That's what I believe.
all these people that he brutally murdered, their spirits all know that he's there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree. Because they've had that EVP there. They've had the children. One of them's a little girl saying "mommy."
Oh,
You know.
that's. I'm sorry, that would be a little creepy if I heard that.
But yeah, they're seeing. They hear little footsteps. They hear heavy footsteps, bangs, knocks of 3. Now the knocks of 3. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the mocking of the Trinity.
Yeah.
777 is heaven. 666 is for the devil. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
When you hear 3 knocking, 3 times knocking is mocking God, and it's the mocking of the Trinity. So if you hear 3 knocks, it's supposed to be a demonic entity. So they're saying that they hear these knockings and scratches in forms of 3. Everything's in forms of 3. 3 scratches, 3 knocks, 3 bangs, 3 whatever. If it happens 3 times,
all of it is
it's said to be right. Exactly, it's supposed to be the mocking of the Trinity. Now I don't know how accurate that is, but it seems to be something that comes up in about every investigation around the world, no matter where it is. If it's 3 knocks, it's an evil. It's
It's 3 or something.
Huh?
So it's naturally just 3 or something. 3 scratches, 3 knocks, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. What it's supposed to be is related to a demonic attachment or a demonic entity of the home or person. So if you hear those rumors or you hear people say, I keep hearing 3 knocks of such and such, it's usually in a home that's being possessed by a negative entity.
Yeah, there's some kind of demonic presence there.
Same thing with the little girl. Now, there's been demonic hauntings such as Bobby Mackey's. That's another one we're going to touch on. I'm really excited to do that episode, is Bobby Mackey's. But they hear children, and usually the children, the sound of a little girl. And it's usually also in reference to a demonic attachment, something that is portraying a little girl that is actually a demon. They call it mimicking.
Oh, that's creepy.
That's a doppelganger thing.
Well, no, not quite, because you're not seeing a replica of yourself. It's the devil or the demon mimicking the sound and look of a child to lure you in with that innocent figure.
I understand like that, but they can also just mimic voices.
Yeah, that is supposed to be a negative entity or a demonic entity as well that's trying to lure you in with the sound.
Daddy, if I hear any noises, walk away.
Huh?
If I hear any noises, walk away. Not my day to be there. Obviously, it's not my day to be there.
I was going to say, not all paranormal things are that way. However, it seems like a majority of paranormal investigations seem to surround some kind of darkness or dark history or bloody history, like the Villisca Axe murder house, for example. The history is so dark there that it's literally stained into the wood of the home.
Yeah, but see, a lot of places that have that feel, there has been horrible things that have happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the one that doesn't make any sense on that, because most of them do. Bobby Mackey's has always been a bar.
It's always been
never been a bar. There's only ever been one murder that took place there, and it wasn't really that it took place there, but her head was thrown into the well there. So
But
we'll
do
get to
we
that tomorrow.
know? But do we know for a fact down the line, like early, was there murders within that area?
I mean,
Like,
I can certainly look into it more in depth, but I
because
think the most it
it
used to be a
seems
slaughterhouse.
it used to be a
Like it
what?
used to be an animal. It used to be an animal slaughterhouse, like a cattle slaughterhouse. And then it was turned
It seems
into the
like
bar.
it whether it's a current history of when whatever happened at that point in time, or it could be 100 years ago that horrible things happened.
Hmm.
It's where the energy comes from, and then it stays there.
Oh, it's very possible. That's very possible, and that's why tomorrow when we get into it, I'm gonna do more research on it to get as many facts as I can. But Bobby Mackey's is considered one of the most demonically possessed places in the world. It even has a sign on the door that says "Enter at your own risk"
I want to go.
for demonic attachments. So this bar is a no bullshit portal of hell, and they actually have a spot in that bar. It's in one of the sheds where there's a well. That's literally, they call it the portal of hell because there's nothing but demonic activity. And I mean, people have
And I
gone
mean,
there
there
on
could
tour,
be a
have been
portal.
scratched,
Somebody could have opened up something.
and that's what they believe. They believe that in combination with whatever history may be there. And like I said, I'm
Right.
gonna try and get to the bottom of that.
You gotta realize that there are people who are sensitive to all this stuff, and there are people that are they're so powerful in that they create their own portals.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that could be another thing, somebody that was that sensitive and that powerful of a sensitive could have opened a door by just even
absolutely.
being there.
My daughter finally fell asleep.
Just being there, if you're that sensitive and that powerful of a sensitive, just you being there, open portals, open doors. So that could be a reason why it's like that too. Somebody that was super sensitive, somebody that powerful was there and opened a door.
Exactly. Absolutely. And I believe that that's the truth. Sorry, I just got a message from another person on who wants to share their experience on our show. So I'm like between talking and responding. But yeah, there's a lot of dark history that surrounds the surrounding area. So I mean, it's very possible that could have something to do with why Bobby Mackey's is so very active. And somebody may, like you said, may have opened a portal inadvertently.
Right.
May have opened it intentionally.
Yeah, because
we don't
you got all these people that mess with stuff that they shouldn't be messing with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yep.
I've seen a lot of these, like these places like this, these murder homes that do bread and breakfasts. Bed and breakfasts. And it seems that people bring all kinds of weird things that they shouldn't be bringing because they want to talk to some ghosts.
Right.
And I'm sorry, not me.
No, right.
Your ghostesses, that's great. If I see you in the hallway, cool. Okay. But I am not going to bring shit that I shouldn't so I can talk to you.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Bad juju.
Anything with a Ouija board or what's that other weird freaking thing? It's another like conduit type thing. No.
Yeah,
No, thank
I
you.
know what
I'm
you're
good.
talking about, but yeah,
Yeah, I
no. And
can't
but
talk
see,
about.
these people,
I'm
they
good.
do that. They bring in Ouija
They do.
boards or they bring in things. I was watching um the dead,
Hmm.
and this guy went out and grabbed a dandelion, stuck it in a jar upside down, and was like, if you're here and trying to talk to these ghosts, if you're here, da 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 da, whatever, make
Whatever.
the dandelion like naked, basically. You know, when it's
Take it.
when you have the all the white stuff and you go to make a wish.
Oh, got you. Got you.
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
he
wait,
wanted,
naked.
yeah, he wanted all the whatever ghost to like take all those white things off so it only had the little nub. Okay.
Ah.
Like, why are we doing this?
I have no idea.
He made some weird blocks too with letters and numbers and stuff like that, and used all of that to communicate with the ghosts that were in there.
But why?
Huh?
But
Because
why though?
like, I guess he wanted to know what was there or communicate with them. So that's what he came up with.
Nope.
And
No.
because he did that, more activity happened because he was messing with stuff he shouldn't have.
Yeah, I'm good.
And he wanted to make that place a bed and breakfast too. Like, you know, it's like, no.
Hell no. No.
I'm sorry, if I had a bed and breakfast like that, I'd be like, there's no Ouija boards. There's no whatever you decide to bring to communicate or anything like that. No, it is not allowed in my establishment. Sorry.
Right?
You're here
I
for
need to
what?
do a ball search.
Maybe 2 or 3 days, maybe a week at the most. I live here, okay? No. No.
Excuse me, sir, ma'am. I need to do a bag search.
Right? Like I said, okay, it's cool. You know, you want to make these bed and breakfast so people, you know, that are curious about it, whatever. But if it was me personally, I'd be like, you are not to bring this, and this. I live here.
Right.
Okay. You get to go bye-bye. Well, I have to stay. Okay. So no, you can't have that.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
You know, that's me. I don't like making waves where you shouldn't make waves.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good on that. Yeah, there's some things that I'm just kind of like, no. Bringing home things that want to like scratch me and torment me and torture me, and no, I'm good on that. I'm good.
Right?
We're gonna cleanse this with some sage and say the
Right,
hell with that
whatever you
shit.
gotta do, because no. I don't want no evil entities in
In my
my
house.
area.
I was gonna say, this is my bubble. You stay on that
Exactly.
side. I'll stay on this side.
Right.
Like, yeah, no, I'm good on that. I'm definitely not all for the yeah. I will gladly go and investigate a place that has whatever going on, and they can stay their happy asses right where the fuck they at.
Exactly. Ain't nobody gonna follow me home. No.
Exactly. Like I don't want it. Don't want it. We're good. That's not a thing. So
Yeah.
You're still there. I'm going this way.
this is a home that I would definitely want to investigate. Although from what I've read and what I've seen and what I've watched on it, it would be definitely one of those places that I'd be wearing like a cross with a cross on my back. You know how you walk around with knives and shit to protect yourself from idiots? I'd be like that one
Right.
person running around with like 100 crosses all over me going, yep, nobody is
Yes.
attaching to this
Nobody
motherfucker.
is touching me.
What's up, bitch?
No touchy.
Can't touch this.
She'd be having some holy water, so she could be like,
I would too. Feel like, I like your house. Feel like blessing
Away
the holy
from
water. I like
me.
your house.
Yeah, stay away.
Wait, I like the house, but I have the holy water. So just so you all know, I have the holy water. I got my crosses. So
Away.
Right? Be walking in there with a Bible in one hand, holy water in the other, going, I really like your house, sir. Be like ready for an exorcism or some shit.
right? That's exact. I can see you doing it though. That I can see you doing it.
Oh, all day. And I would too. But
You'd go make
on
like
another note, I was gonna say I'd probably piss off whatever's there way worse. I feel bad for
You
whoever
probably
comes
would
in
make
after
it
me.
mad. You probably would make it mad, especially it being demonic. But it wouldn't follow you. You know,
No, hell no. You'd be like, fuck
put
that
some
bitch.
sage
You go
around
home.
you. You know, before you go in, burn some around you.
Put some salt.
Some salt.
Circle.
Yep. Oh yeah, I'd be walking around with a crystal, cleansing crystal, be like, yeah, I'm about to piss something off today. It's really not gonna like me. But no,
Hey, but the whole thing is real. You know that, right?
huh?
I was watching one F-Files again, but Amy Allen was in this house,
Mhm.
and the lady that owned the house, she was a very powerful, sensitive. She
Yeah.
opened doors with just herself. So there were ghosts passing in and out of her house because she was a door. Okay. And there was some bug thing we saw on the roof, like a black bug. She described it as it looked like a bug. It was long and everything. But this thing was outside of the house. Okay,
Good.
this demonic entity was outside of the house. It was trying to get into the house.
I'd be like putting all kinds of barriers and stuff. You stay the fuck out.
Well,
Oh, I
she
know what you're
told
talking
her-
about. The tree guys.
Yes,
The tree
You
guys,
need
right?
to go around your whole house with salt.
Yeah, you're talking about the tree people, right?
No, this was not the tree people. So it was a lady who had her daughter and her grand move in, and things had been happening and everything. And she wanted to make sure that her grandkids weren't going to be in any danger.
Right.
Well, when Amy came in, there was like an older gentleman who talked to her first, and there was, like she said, a line of ghosts, like they were standing in a line coming through the house because the lady was powerful, sensitive, that she was a door herself. But there was a demonic, and the best she could describe it as some kind of bug thing. It had long arms, long legs, and these little thingies sticking out its head. She could say bug light. That's what she said. But it hadn't been inside the house yet. It was trying to get inside the house.
Mm.
And she said it was trying to get inside the house to attach itself to the lady, which then it could cause her to do things that would hurt other people and stuff. So as she's, because she can see all this stuff, she's watching it, and she says it skitters across the roof. It skitters around the side, around the windows, and everything. Yeah, insane. This one was insane. I was like, oh my God, I can't even do it. And she said that she had to put salt around her house to close her house. Because if that thing got through, it would attach itself to her, and she would be capable of doing horrible things that would hurt people.
Yeah. No.
So I mean, the something you're like supernatural. Obviously, that's one of them that is. So it's not a supernatural thing, and I'm talking about the show, not like a supernatural thing. So.
Okay, so here's the deal. Tomorrow he wants to do the interview with us, because I just got his response. Sometime in the evening, I'm trying to do about 7 o'clock, just like we did with the other group. He is a paranormal investigator, and he's been a paranormal investigator for 10 years, and I'm going to send you the link to his show so that you can familiarize.
Sounds good.
So,
yay, another guest.
I love it when we get guests. So I'm looking forward to talking to our guest for tomorrow. His name is actually Dennis Godwin. Dennis Godwin. Actually, Denise Godwin. So she will be joining us tomorrow. And she's been a paranormal investigator for 10 years. So hopefully she'll have some pretty cool stuff to share with us on
That's awesome. We love our guests.
We do. We absolutely do. And anybody out there that has a story to share, a sherry to store. I had a little tongue tied there for a second.
That's me. Like I said, bed. I was like bread. No, bed.
Anybody
who
wants
bread breakfast here. I know it's a little different than a bed and breakfast, but
oh Lord, save me. For anybody who wants to join us and be a guest on our show, you can hit me up at Ladies of the Paranormal on YouTube, or Ladies of the Paranormal World on Twitter. Also, Ladies of the Paranormal World on Facebook. You can also reach out to my colleagues, i.e. my hosts on the YouTube. Leave your comment and your contact, and we will definitely get to you. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for watching Ladies of the Paranormal World, episode 10. Hey, we made it to the Big 10.
Tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.